Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make calendar events. We're going to focus on basic events in this video, not appointment slots. And I'm going to show you how to make an event, how to invite guests, add video conferencing, or add rooms to events, as well as how to deal with recurring events and manage how often you want an event to repeat. So I'm back to my basic Google Calendar, calendar.google.com. I have turned off a couple calendars that were kind of showing me things that were getting in my way. And there's a few ways that you can make a Google Calendar event. One is using the Create button over here, and that will pop up this window, as you can see. Another way to do it is just to click on your calendar. And in particular, if you click on the calendar, you can see that the default date becomes whatever date that you clicked on. And that's kind of nice. It sort of autofills that date for you. Versus when I use the Create button, it defaults to today. I did just have to check my watch to make sure it really was July 10th, by the way. So either way works. They're both fine. I'm going to come in here and make an event for August 10th. And notice right away, an important thing to pay attention to is what calendar it's defaulting the event to. I don't have my personal calendar, my Rachel Lawrence calendar turned on right now. So it's not going to default to that calendar. It's defaulting to kind of the first calendar that I have active at the moment. I can come in and change that calendar. I very often forget and initially put an event on the wrong calendar and then have to fix it. And I'll show you how to do that. But you can see if I turn on my Rachel Lawrence calendar, now it's going to default to that. It's going to kind of default to whatever the first calendar, active calendar is in your list. And so I can add a title. And then here's where you can do some things that are not just basic events that I'll talk to you about later. Right now, this is what we call an all-day event. And this is what all-day events look like in Google Calendar. They're kind of a colored solid block like that. And they don't have a time associated with them. If I want to add a time, I'm going to click Add Time. And then I can add whatever time I want on there. It's defaulting to 3 o'clock because that's the next whole hour from when I'm making this video. It's defaulting to an hour long because that's what I had in my calendar settings. If you remember, we could change that default length of the event to whatever we wanted it to. Now I can add guests. I can invite someone to join my event. I can add video conferencing, which it's prompting me to do, as you see. If you've done things with me before, you've noticed that I gravitate towards Google Meet. It's built in. It's getting some of the features that folks have liked for Zoom. I'm not having to give my data to a third-party company. It's all covered in our sort of blanket terms of use with Google through our G Suite. I just prefer to use it. I know some folks have really good reasons why they prefer to use Zoom. And you can get kind of a Zoom add-on that will give you the same button in Google Calendar just like this does. Notice here I have two options. I can say See Guest Availability, and I can do Suggested Times. This is really nice if everyone in your organization is using Google Calendar the same way. Right now I have Adrienne on this event. Maybe she's a difficult person to catch up with. It's hard to find her. If she's using her calendar and showing her free busy time on her calendar, I can see that. You can see here I have everything after 4 o'clock grayed out, and Adrienne has everything after 5 o'clock grayed out. That's because we both have our working hours set, and my working hours ended at 4, and Adrienne's working hours ended at 5. So it's basically saying any time that's not in there is not a good time to meet. And then notice the weekends are completely grayed out. If Adrienne had some events in here where she was busy, here you can see one on the 15th. She has a meeting at 9:30 a.m. on July 15th. I don't know what she's doing. It just says she's busy because she has her calendar privacy settings set correctly. But I know that that is not a time for me to try to meet with her. You might even put your class times in here so that people know that that's not a good time to try to meet with you. So I got this by clicking on Find a Time. I can also click Suggested Times, and then it will automatically generate a list of times that both of our calendars show that we're free. This system obviously falls apart pretty quickly if people aren't using Google Calendar in your organization. so take it with a grain of salt, but it has some powerful potential. I can also add rooms, like maybe we want to meet in the Glade and we want to reserve the Glade. I can add that to our meeting. And now our event is automatically going to get added to the Glade North calendar. I can also add a location. This is nice if you have people coming from outside of the school. It gives them an address that they can use to get directions or whatever. And then I can add a description, and this is really nice. I like this because I can describe what the meeting is about. I can put a link to a Google Drive file with an agenda or something, and it's just a really convenient way to organize information that folks may need to access during the meeting. It puts it all in one place versus them having to go back through their email or something. They can just go to their calendar at the time of the meeting, click onto the description, and pull up all the information. This is kind of the quick event construction menu. If you click on more options down here, it takes you to kind of the complete event menu where you have extra options. You can see for this individual event, it's defaulting to showing me as busy because that's what I have my whole calendar default set to. Every event that I add to my Rachel Lawrence calendar is going to show me as busy. But if I, for some reason, don't want that to show, I do want this to show the details, I can change it to make this particular event public, even though my calendar in general is not public. Sorry for a second. Up here at the top too, you can see this is a new feature that showed up in this chunk about does not repeat. If the event is going to repeat, you can have it repeat daily, weekly on Monday, monthly on the second Monday. It's saying second Monday because that's where it is right now. And you can have it repeat in a custom way where you can have it repeat really for any time frame that you want. And there's a lot of different ways you can customize this so you can have things repeat. One of the nice things, I'm going to have this repeat weekly just for now because then I'm going to show you how I can go in and cancel them after a little while. I could set it to end automatically. I often forget to do that, so then I have events that are going off into like 2025 and I need to go in and remove them. So I think that's everything here. If you see something I missed, drop it in the comments. I'm going to save this event. It's prompting me what I like to send invitation emails to Google Calendar guests. If I click send here, it's going to send Adrienne a nice email saying Rachel has invited you to this event. Here's the description. It's going to go ahead and send her the Google Meet link. I won't have to do that separately. And she'll also be able to go to her Google Calendar and access the Google Meet link through the event. And also, if she just goes to meet.google.com, it's automatically going to pop up there that she has this meeting on the day of the meeting. So she doesn't even have to dig it out anywhere if she doesn't want to. I'm going to click Don't Send, though, since this is just a test event. So you can see here, now I have my test event. It is repeating in perpetuity. Let's say in December, I decide I don't want this event anymore after December. I guess I'm actually on November 30th, but you get the idea. I come in here, I click on that. Notice I have the option to edit any of my event details. I can say whether or not I'm going. Adrienne will also be able to say whether or not she's going. But I'm going to come up here and I'm going to click this trash icon. And see how it's asked, because this is a recurring event, it's asking me, do you only want to delete this event, this November 30th meeting, and keep all the ones before it and after it? Do you want to delete this meeting and all the ones that come after it? Or do you want to delete every instance of this meeting? And this middle one is one that I find very handy because I often forget to put an end date when I make recurring events. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and put all events. And I can send Adrienne a nice email if I want to, saying why I canceled this meeting that we had together. I think that is it for calendar events. If you think of anything that I forgot or there's anything you really want to know about, please drop it in the comments below and I will be happy to address it in a future video.